Hello, welcome to the Jews for Jesus Israel page, and welcome to the Parasha. As you can see, I am here in a pottery studio. This is my wife's pottery studio here in Jaffa, Israel, where we live. Here you can see, here is our neighborhood. And it's from here that I'm gonna bring you a very quick Parasha study for the week. If you're not familiar with what that word means, it is a Jewish term for the section of the 5 books of Moses. And we study through the 5 books of Moses every year, the Torah. And I'm going to just give you a brief intro into what the passage is this week. This week, the passage is called Vayikra, which means Leviticus, basically, or he will call. It's the 3rd book of the 5 books of Moses, and we begin the study of that book this week. And I find the interesting thing is the way that the book begins. The book begins with, "Now the Lord called Moses and spoke to him from the tabernacle of meeting." Here at the book, because of what's happened in Exodus, not just the salvation story, but also the fact that we broke our relationship with God right there. We broke our relationship with God in the book of Exodus right there at Mount Sinai with the golden calf. And that break in relationship has led to the fact that Moses isn't speaking to God in the tabernacle. He's not there face to face that they were on Mount Sinai in the relationship, but God is speaking to Moses from within the tabernacle, and Moses has to stay outside. And the reason that that's happened is that break in relationship. And so our book begins with a series of sacrifices. Now, some of these sacrifices are sacrifices to say thank you to God, right? They're sacrifices of praise to God, of love to God. And then the other sacrifices that we encounter here are sacrifices for saying, I'm sorry. They're sacrifices of apology, sacrifices of atonement for sin. And in most cases, it begins by saying sins that we didn't intend to commit. The idea is that people are encountering things that are new rules, and so they didn't intend to do what they were wrong, but then they found out, and so they brought a sacrifice to God. Because whether you know you commit a crime or not, it's still a crime, and when you know that you've done something wrong, you need to say sorry, regardless of whether you intended to do something wrong or not. You did something wrong. And so you got to recognize that. And so this is what the book of Leviticus gives us. Now, interestingly, as you go through the rest of the book, which we'll try and go through, you notice that God is dealing with the people of Israel on this issue of holiness and on this issue of purity. Now, they're 2 very different issues, actually, when it comes to God's relationship. The issue of purity is one where I've got to approach God in the right way. I can't have touched dead people or have, done things that are not pure and then come before God. He says, you know what? You need to take a week. Take a week. If you're mourning for your dead cousin, if, something's happening, take a week and then come to me. Give it some time. These aren't sins. They're things that happen in life. And I want you to give yourself a time, a day, a week, whatever it may be, and then come to me when you're ready. It's important that you understand that the respect and the honor and the privilege that it is to come before God. Then he talks about holiness. And holiness, that's when he's actually talking about sin. And he's telling people you've got to sort it out. But the book is structured in a way that points us to chapter 16 and 17, which is the Day of Atonement ritual, the day when the priest would enter into, at last, the Holy of Holies and make sacrifices to cover the sins of the whole people. That one moment with that one man bringing forgiveness for everyone. And then the beauty of the way that this book is put together is that in the beginning of the book of Numbers, the verse reads, "And the Lord spoke to Moses in the tabernacle." So after Leviticus, we meet God in the tabernacle. And as believers in Jesus, having been given purity, having been given holiness imputed to us, given to us as a gift, knowing that whenever we come to God, we're in the tabernacle, not because of what we have done, but because of one man at one time giving forgiveness to everyone. Knowing that, it's so beautiful. And it makes reading Leviticus, reading all of these sacrifices, reading what had to be done, reading of the different, and knowing that all of this was done for me. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. But that's who I am. You know why? And this is why I wanted to do this in this pottery studio, is because he formed me. He shaped me. He made me. And he fired me. That's a kiln, by the way. He fired me for this moment and in this time. And so, guys, if you're stuck at home, or if you have elderly family and you're concerned for them and you can't go to them, and as we know, they so need it because they're lonely and they're, they want touch. We all need touch. We all need love. I want to encourage you that in your place of poverty, in your place of struggle and trial, Jesus is with you. And he has made a way for you to come all the way into the temple and to speak to God about it. I know that when I'm stressed and when I'm freaking out, I don't want to talk to God. I want to figure my life out. I want to get it in, but before I go to him. But that's not what he's asking us to do. He made a way all the way in so that you don't have to go through all the steps. You can go straight to him and tell him all that is going on. And believe me, being in that presence and being with him really does change a lot. It gives a peace that we don't understand normally. So let me encourage you to do that, and encourage you to keep praying and keep working through this, and to please consider, sharing this video, continuing supporting what we do, because it's stuff like this, teachings like this, ministry like this, that we here at Jews for Jesus are doing for people all around us all the time. So we'd appreciate that, and we want to keep praying and encouraging you guys as well. So God bless, and we'll see you soon.